artist, performing artist has heard that. And that's all I'm thinking as I'm at my first professional theater gig, and I'm staring at Act 1 of The Crucible at the Warehouse Theater, and I'm trying not to vomit. And I'm listening to Abby talk about how Tituba conjured Ruth Putnam's dead sisters, and that is all, and I'm getting a little desperate, so I start examining my options. And the first one, there's this little trash can on the floor below me, and I'm like, yes, that'll work, and then I'm like, no, because then the paying audience will hear me vomiting. That's not what they signed up for, so I scrap that idea, and I go, okay, I need something to muffle it, right? So I have this black towel around my shoulder, because the Warehouse Theater is always freezing cold. And this is the closest thing I have to a blanket. So I'm like, yes, I'll just throw them into that, and it'll muffle it. And then I'm like, no, because then I'll have a wet, smelly piece of fabric, and like, I'm just gonna like throw that in the trunk of the car after and be like, I'll explain later. So I've run out of options now, and I start getting a little desperate and more queasy, and then all of a sudden, a miracle happens, and Mr. Putnam enters, and then my stage manager, Louise, my first professional stage manager, enters, calls the light cue for Mr. Putnam to enter, and I hit it, and I look at my cue list, and I realize I have 20 minutes until my next cue. And so I get on headset with my first professional stage manager ever, and I go, hey, Louise. She has her book in front of her, and she goes, hey, Grace, and I go, we have like 20 minutes till the next cue, right? She goes, she's looking through her book, she's like, yeah, why, what's up? I'm like, can I go to the bathroom? I'm going to fall. She's like, sure. So I throw my headset off, I climb down the ladder from the booth into the patron's bathroom, I fly into the first stall, and I vomit. And it's pure yellow. And I'm throwing up my pre-show tradition. Because every show, before the show, I would pop popcorn and share it with the cast, and I would call it pre-show corn. So I'm emptying all my pre-show corn into the toilet, and I'm getting really nervous and really scared because earlier this week, my history teacher had told us a story about this kid at his college who had died because he drowned in his own vomit at the football stadium. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like that kid at the football stadium. But the show must go on, right? And so I'm on the rim in the toilet, and I go,
oh man.
Anybody hear me, right? I'm waiting for my help, and I'm thinking about drowning, and then all of a sudden, these two little black shoes run into the bathroom and throw up in the first stall. And it's the assistant stage manager, Jamie. My help has arrived, another miracle. And she goes, oh, honey, are you okay? And the show must go on, I go, can they hear me? Oh, honey, don't worry about that right now. Come on, let's help you get cleaned up. She hands me a bunch of paper towels, and I get up, and I'm looking at the really nice mirror in the really nice patron's bathroom. And she goes, are you gonna be okay? And I go, yeah. And she goes, are you sure? Like, I could go up there for you? And I go, yes, I'm going to be okay. And I climb back up the ladder, and I sit back, and I hit the next cue.
Yeah!
And I put that black towel back around my shoulders. And I start shivering again. And it's kind of shaking up my insides like a soda ball. So by the end of Act 1, I start feeling a little bit queasy again. And I'm starting to look at that trash can again. And then my stage manager, another miracle happened. Mr. Putnam exits. And Louise calls a cue for Mr. Putnam exiting. And intermission comes on. And that means I'm free. And so I throw off my headset, and I climb down the ladder, and I look at the patron's bathroom, and it's full of patrons. And so I look at the line of very professional actors, and I run past all of them, head bowed in shame, into the women's dressing room, and collapse in the women's dressing room toilet, and dry heave. And pretty soon I realize there's no more corn to throw up. And so I go, and I sit down in shame. And beside me, doing her makeup for the courtroom scene, is Anne Tromsness, who is the teacher for the 8 a.m. theater class at the Fine Arts Center. Any alums in the house tonight?
Yeah!
There we go. And she also teaches Arts Reaching Elementary and Middle School, which I do lights and sound for sometimes. And I sit beside her and I go, oh, well, she goes, well, what happened? And I was like, I don't know, I guess I just ate my pre-show corn and, nothing else. And she goes, well, that's not good. You should take care of yourself. And I go, yeah, I guess I should. And I'm kind of looking at the floor, and I'm not really looking at her because I know she can see right through me because I just told her a lie. The night before this, me and my sister and my best friend Emily had tried edibles for the first time. Emily had her third of the brownie, and Bella had her third of the brownie, and I had my third of the brownie, and then I wanted 2 more thirds of the brownie. And then my vision doubled, and I can't really walk, but somehow I make it to the door of my parents' bedroom, and I bang on it, and I throw up Chester's hot fries all over the floor, and I go, I think I'm dying! And then I wake up, and I go to the Crucible the next day. And I'm climbing back up this ladder, and I sit down at my chair and resolve never to do anything new and illegal again before a show. And I hit that next cue, and the show does go on. Thank you.
Yeah!